Okay, so all you Porsche gents, Joel's here from HYTORC. We're going to get your background here in a minute, but we have a new tool that really, this is a prototype, right? So this doesn't exist yet.
The fastener is a prototype. This tool exists already. It's been in the market for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
But the fasteners
Gotcha.
don't work without the tool.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So the technology or the fabrication is in, the manufacturing is in, these are actually a different nut than what is on the car.
Right.
A different setup.
Right.
So if you're not familiar, the way that a Porsche Centerlock works is it's torqued to 442 foot-pounds. And in order to do so, you want the car, per the Porsche service manual, the car should be in the air.
Right.
You should, in the front, you have to have somebody apply the brakes and probably hold the steering wheel because the steering wheel wants to take off on you.
Correct.
And you're using a 4 or 5 or 6 foot breaker bar, which is a little risky around your mirrors. And it's one of those things that you've also got to be able to apply 442 foot-pounds.
Right.
And then to install, same thing. You've got to apply some anti-seize, some optimal paste.
Right.
Then you have to torque it, and then you have to back it off a half turn or quarter
60
turn,
degrees.
and then torque it again to 442 foot-pounds, which again is not the easiest thing to do, especially in the front of the car where there's no e-brake applied.
Right.
So one of the concepts that Porsche guys have been dreaming of forever is, couldn't there be a tool that I could just zip, and put it on really quickly? Of course, the difficulty of using an impact is you can't be hammering down on a very precise nut, right? Am I on the right track here?
You're 100% right.
So now bring me up to speed with where HYTORC comes in with a electrically controlled.
Right.
I'm assuming torque multiplying type machine, and then the difficulty is then having a special Centerlock nut that works.
Right. So this tool is an electronic torque gun.
Okay.
Calibrated just like your regular clicker wrench.
Okay.
Okay. We programmed this tool, I don't know if you can see this, the Centerlock program. So it tightens it to 600 newton meters, which is 450 foot-pounds or so.
Gotcha. Backs
Backs it off 60 degrees, and then tightens it back to the 600 newton meters.
What about removal? Couldn't I use my big Milwaukee that does, has 1800 nut busting torque? I mean, that's problematic on a precise nut like this, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So this isn't just ratcheting it off.
With an impact, you run the risk of galling the bolt, the stud.
Okay.
Okay, because it's banging back and forth, thread on thread, banging on each other. You tear them up over time. This is precise, controlled torque. No impacting at all.
Because one of the biggest things is that you want to be able to put it back on with the same tool.
Right.
But this is where it gets a little complicated. You can't, why couldn't you just make a tool for the Centerlock nut that's already on the car? It's not equipped, it's not set up for that?
You can, but you need a special reaction fixture. Again, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're tightening something to 450 foot-pounds, it has to hold off or, react off against something.
Okay.
What we've done, instead of doing that, is come up with our version of the Centerlock nut. So you can see the castles on the outside here. And the inner sleeve turns separately from that. Okay?
From the outer sleeve, okay.
Now, if you look at the driver on the tool, I call it a driver or a socket, whatever you want to call it. Okay. This holds onto the castles on the outer sleeve while it turns the inner sleeve, as I call it.
I gotcha. So it's turning.
It's holding this still.
Okay.
And turning this at the same time.
And so you're not. So what is the engineering? What does that do for the threads by doing that?
So good question. What you do? There's even with a big old cheater bar, you're reefing on the thing.
Yeah.
You're putting side load on there, right? With this, everything is in line. It's all axial. There's no bending force. So it's controlled tightening and loosening without any side load.
So not only do we have the electronic benefit and the lack of manpower needed, you also have a benefit from a longevity perspective.
Right.
Mainly for guys at the track who are ripping off, taking wheels and tires off all the time.
Plus, you don't need to find another person Say,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
one person,
and what I've done is we take the wood clamp, we flip it around, put a towel on the seat to hold the brake down, but then you still have to manage it for the wheel turning.
Right.
And people have seen me do this for years on the YouTube channel. But you're doing it wrong. You need to brake it on the ground, but per Porsche's service manual,
right.
you're not supposed to, and I think it has something to do with force on the I guess it would be the shaft or the axle shaft, the end of the axle shaft, and so you're supposed to brake it in the air with the load of the car off,
right.
which creates a whole nother.
Which is another challenge.
Right.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put the car here on the lift. We have to take it off because this machine will not remove my factory nut.
Right.
We're going to have to get the old precision instruments out, and I'm going to have to lay into it to get the thing off of there. And then we're going to show you how this procedure goes.
Right.
So is this your company? I mean, how did this happen?
I have been with HYTORC 12, 13 years now. I work primarily in the power generation division, nuclear, chemical, plants like that. This fastener, if you want to call it a fastener, is an offshoot of our patented technology.
Okay.
One of the owners of the company has a GT car. He says, why can't we?
Gotcha.
He knows what you just said, how much of a pain it is. So use our technology in creating our version of the
So your
Centerlock
tech
car.
is that machine?
This machine and the fastener.
Gotcha. So that is you guys sell those for different applications.
Yeah,
these.
this is a 3/4 inch square drive tool, but we put our special driver on there to work with this specific application.
And it's held on by a simple set screw. And then this is what you're talking about. This is where. So is this particular? You could adjust. Could I do 700 newton meters? Could I use this for something else?
Absolutely. We just programmed it for this specific application. You can go in there and change anything you want. There's a menu in there with so many different settings.
Gotcha. By the way, this doesn't exist yet. Like, this isn't a thing yet.
This is a prototype.
This is something I'm trying to get you guys to make tons of comments to say, frickin' sign me up.
Right.
And so for most of us Porsche guys, like, this is going to have one sole purpose. Right? I don't know what else I would use this for.
Anything that you can use a 3/4 inch square drive socket with, I guess.
Okay. Gotcha. So I could use this as a precise torquing. I could put a socket. I could put an anvil on the end of this thing, and then use this tool for that as well.
Anything else?
Now, people are going to complain about the battery. Is this like the specific ecosystem? You'd have to have these batteries for just this tool. This doesn't use like a DeWalt or something.
No, this is a HYTORC battery.
Got it. Okay. The question before we get the car here.
Yes.
What do you think this is going to cost? Because that's what everybody wants to know.
We don't know yet. We're trying to determine that.
I mean, are we talking $20,000, $3,000?
We're talking
$800.
Anywhere, I'm guessing, depends on market demand, how well this works for us, for you. $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $6,000, we don't know.
Gotcha.
We know what our costs are, but it depends on demand. If there's a lot of demand, the price to manufacture everything goes down.
I've seen something like this before, like maybe 3 years ago. Was that you guys on Renlist throwing this idea out there?
Something similar to it, but again, that has a reaction arm on it. And you're still pushing all that force against the spokes.
Got it. Okay.
And this is all, if you have magnesium wheels or the carbon wheels, do you really want 900 foot-pounds of torque reacting against that spoke?
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be okay. I don't know, but
Right.
it's a chance, it's a risk.
Gotcha. That's assuming that you could even generate that much force, with
Well, there's a whole mathematical equation.
use a torque multiplier.
By the distance from the center point to the torque, there's always more.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, let's get the car on the lift here, and let's show people how to take off a center lock, and then why this is something that's considered, why every Porsche guy wants to know this. If you've never seen or taken off a center lock nut, it is a bit of a process. And then I'm excited to show them. We're going to put one of these nuts on the car and show them how this machine works on both installation and then removal, and how that would be beneficial to us. So let's get this out of the way and we'll get the car up on the lift.
Damn.
All right, so let's get our tools out, do the fun part. This thinks I got my fancy Sonic torque torque wrench back at my house. So we're going to use the stinky old Precision Instruments. So, this sucker on counterclockwise. So this is the procedure we got to go through in order to remove the wheel normally. What am I doing? It's the breaker bar. So I got a 3/4 breaker bar. Got to get my socket out of the frunk. So now, Joel, some of the people are going to have a question of what about serviceability? Let's say I take a road trip and I want to take my now proprietary Centerlock off. No one's going to have that tool. I guess you would suggest we just put the big old thing in the front and drive around with it. Is that, I mean, I guess. In other words, will this socket fit on the new?
Yes.
So the socket will still work, so I could still remove it.
Vice versa.
Oh, good. I didn't even. I'm saying I'm making the sales pitch. I didn't even think about that. That was smart.
Beat me to it.
So we take our little cap off, like so, and now we have access to our unlock mechanism, which of course this nut pushes in and unlocks. So now your new nut will have a ring around here.
Correct.
And so Bryce, can you jump in there and hold the brake? And we'll show everybody.
I'm thinking of playing my music.
Music allowed.
Don't scratch the paint.
So now I've got to apply 442-ish foot-pounds.
Probably a little more than that.
To get this thing off. Because sometimes when you go to 442, the pin doesn't pop in place. You have to go a little
You
past
can
that.
push it in and move it around a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Got to hold the wheel. So that's. So not undoable, but
You need somebody else.
yeah, I mean not fun. So the dream has always been to have a machine do this for me. But if you have the right tools, it's not the end of the world doing this. But it's certainly not fun. And this thing locked on here. So here's our normal Centerlock nut. So can you show me? You grab yours and
Yeah.
we'll take a look at the difference to show people what that is. So now this is a prototype. Are you going to make it pretty for me? Is it going to be all anodized black?
Well, right now, this is a prototype.
Yeah,
We're thinking we'll be able to make this in any color as well, not just stainless. Make it
that would be sick. Yeah.
whatever. Again, this is what we're trying to figure out. Hopefully, this is going to work, and we can.
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
most guys are going to want to match their calipers or match their
Right.
whatever reason. Porsche dudes and their freaking seatbelts and their calipers are the thing. I don't like that, but I like my seatbelts to be black. But so there's our new mechanism. So normal procedure would be, we're not going to do it, but normal procedure would be, I take the wheel off. I would then apply a fresh coat of Optimal paste on the threads. I'm also inspecting the threads to make sure there's no galling.
Clean it out. You know the procedure. Get all the grease out.
Yep. And then you would apply a new thin layer. We're not
Right.
going to worry about that for this, but you'd apply a new thin layer of Optimal paste in order to apply. All right, so I'm going to step away and you're going to show me
need to grab
how
the
this
tool.
works. And we're going to try not to get this all over ourselves.
Yes.
Does Bryce need to be in there anymore?
No.
Come on out, Bryce.
Get me out of here.
So we no longer have to worry about someone holding the brake or the wheel.
All right.
Yep. So the wheels.
Wheels loose. Nobody's in the car. There's nothing. No clamp on the seat on the
Right.
brake.
So you would apply Optimal in theory.
That's a given for our.
Yep.
Just put it on. You can take your old driver, if you like, or ours. Mine just secured to the tool. Actually, yeah, we'll just run this down for now.
And people are going to yell at you if you don't start it by hand. Okay, so the traditional socket
I'm just going to do it the right way.
Yeah. So what's the level of engineering precision required for a center lock? Is it very extremely high?
I am not an engineer.
Okay, all right.
And I don't have the ability to do it. I know the basics that go into it. Mm-hmm. Actually, if you think about it, it's a pretty simple concept.
Yeah. But the precision required.
Precision, right.
High.
That's
yeah.
HYTORC's been doing since 1968.
Gotcha. So now we take our machine. You already have it set to 600 Newton meters.
It's pre-programmed.
Okay.
You want to do this? First,
you've
never done it before.
I want you to show me first, and then
Okay.
I like to watch the experts. Okay.
Now it's going to tighten to 600 Newton meters. Mm-hmm. Stop for a second. Back off 60 degrees. Mm-hmm. And retighten to 600 Newton meters per Porsche's procedures.
Okay.
It's already pre-programmed. This is going to turn a little bit. Now it's going to back up. Now it's loosening it. 60 degrees. Done.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Oh, I want it so bad. I don't care what it costs. Give me one.
And to take it off, just put the tool in reverse.
Okay.
Actually, you can see this. Fit right in there.
Yeah, it's now locked. We know it's locked.
Your cap will fit back on there.
Yep.
Okay. Now it's just loosening it up.
Now you can take it off the rest
Now
of the way.
you can just take it off the rest of the way.
You would just need your, gotcha.
You get the idea. I'll leave it on there for now.
All right, let me play with this thing. Get out of the way.
Now, the switch it's in reverse. Got to put it in tighten right there on the bottom.
Yep.
Don't let go of the trigger. So let me explain the procedure, what this does. It tightens to 600 Newton meters, backs it off 60, retightens to 600 Newton meters, then it backs off the tool 5 degrees.
You can't see it.
You can't see it.
It's not backing this part off. It's backing the internal
Right.
section off. So it's turning this.
Again, this is a prototype. If we need to, we could cut a window in here so you can see it turning.
Yeah.
This is just a prototype. So it's going to, just don't let go of the trigger.
So I'm in tighten.
Make sure it's on square.
Okay.
One hand.
Pull the button.
Don't let go.
What happens if I let go? It explodes?
It'll say for error, then you have to just pull the button again. It's tightening. I think we backed it off a bunch.
Now it's going back off.
One more. There you go. You're done.
Oh my gosh! There's a like a tiny kickback, but just
You can
But
rotate
I'm not having to muscle it. I mean, it's freaking perfect. Oh my gosh! What are we waiting on? Let's go. Let's make this, Joel. Come on. Yeah.
Hopefully you'll help us.
If you're not a Porsche guy, if you haven't had to mess with the Centerlocks, or if you haven't had to learn this procedure of the Porsche way of doing it, if you haven't had to figure that out, you don't understand how freaking amazing this is. Like, to be able to just take my wheels off whenever I want. This would afford me, it's a whole big process to take it off, and so this would afford me the ability, hey, I wanted to clean up behind the wheel weights or something like that. I wanted to dry ice clean the wheels. I could just come and grab this and yank it off real quickly.
Plus, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody's sitting in the car.
So I go to remove. What is is there a projected lifespan of does this? Do we improve the lifespan of our nut?
It's the same service from every 5,000 miles or so. Take it apart, reservice it.
Yeah.
Same
Gotcha.
thing as
I've
the
never
Porsche.
done that, so I don't think any Porsche guys have
For
really
the
done.
Porsche procedures, yes. Now,
So now I'm on loosen. It says
All right.
loosen. I already switched it.
you can still rotate the tool as it's going.
Do I let go on loosen? Oh man, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I take and I can remove the rest of the way with my tool or by hand. So I could do it that way, or I could just push the pin in, turn it,
Whatever.
take it the rest of the way off.
Plus, like I said before, no cheater bar up against the paint. The case will fit in the front.
Yeah.
The battery will last more than a full day.
Yeah, so if you had a set of batteries, or you said the set of batteries and a charger, and you're good to go at the track.
Comes with the battery, the charger, right?
Yeah, but even then, you'd probably find that you just leave your charger at home.
Yeah.
If you had a battery.
That'll last all day.
Yeah.
Especially with just 4 nuts per car, it'll last like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I want that. Everybody wants that. What other questions do I have?
Yeah, what else you got?
I think that's all I need to know. I just need to know where to sign.
Well,
Can I buy one of them now, a prototype one, and have it be like the first one?
So this is the case it comes in. We just put it in here,
Okay.
see?
So it's going to be a Pelican
This
case
is
type.
it's a Pelican case, all pre-cut out for everything.
And so you'd have
the
your HYTORC nuts would come with it.
Right. This is
And so the concept, because remember, you need the nut in order to replace your factory
right.
nut.
This is
in order for-
replacing the Porsche OEM nut with ours.
So you'd have the tool, which you could technically use for other things.
You can. It's a standard square drive tool with a HYTORC technology built in.
And that's the slow, controlled.
Right. You notice it wasn't banging. It's not an impact.
What is it? What do you call
It's
it?
a torque multiplier.
Okay.
Call it that. Precision.
So I could, and so what is this particular tool? What is the range of?
This tool goes up to 700 foot-pounds. I think the minimum is 150 foot-pounds,
Okay.
from memory. There's a smaller version.
So could I use this for traditional lugs?
Yeah.
So I could have precisely torqued lugs as well without the ratcheting.
Right, but you need a custom reaction type fixture.
So
And you could put it on there, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Got it.
You need the high torque fastener technology to make this work. That's what makes the driver and the nut work.
You have like lugs specifically made to work.
You'd have to have a lug.
We
You'd
have-
to have like some sort of lug that's spun inside of it.
We have fixtures that we use on truck wheels, for example. So you put the socket on the end of that onto the nut, then it reaches over to the next nut and grabs onto it, so it reacts with an arm and 2 sockets base. So it's turning this one, and this one's holding
So
it
it
right.
needs a little bit of room to do it. You couldn't do that in a normal.
It depends on the wheel, right? On trucks, they're pretty big, open. Those are 22-inch wheels, so are these, I guess. But
So for me, this tool has one purpose.
you could take things off in the back, perhaps. It depends. I mean, you can make. Yeah.
I just don't have anything with a reactionary type fixture. Everything is a traditional lug or.
Right. Well, we can try.
Bolt.
We'll see what happens. This way you'll know.
Well, is there an anvil on the end of that thing?
It comes with one, not with this case. It's called
Yeah.
a reaction arm. An anvil is what you're calling it.
Yeah.
Just comes down and it's looking to react off something.
Yeah.
That's just something.
I'm just thinking of the questions that people are going to ask. Say, well, I buy this $5,000 tool. I can only use it for one thing. Could I use it for? If I could use it for something else, then they're going to be a bit more inclined to convince their wife.
Completely
well, hey, I
understand.
could use this to mount pictures to the wall.
Again, this is our very first attempt at making anything like this.
Yeah. I don't care.
The tool's been proven for
Like
years.
my darn pressure washer that we have is $3,000. I only use the pressure washer for washing my car. That's it. But there's a large percentage of people that can justify it if they think they can clean their shutters as well in their concrete driveway. I would argue, there's a tool for the job, and that
Right.
tool for the job is different than, a big gas pressure
Let me ask you
washer.
this. The use number $5,000. Is that worth not pissing off your wife? Get in the car, push the brake harder, hold the wheel.
If this is $5,000, the game.
I'm just using that just to throw it
I'm
in
saying if it's $7,500 to $10,000, it's a little trickier for people,
Right.
I think. But for $5,000, if you're a long-term Porsche guy and you plan on having Centerlock type Porsche GT cars, instant. You know, most guys probably not their first, unless they're track guys. Every track guy will buy it. But if you're a guy that you got your first Porsche GT, you probably won't buy it right away. But maybe toward the end of the ownership of your first and maybe your second, you're going to chalk it up to saying, you know, I'd really like to be able to service my own wheels, and you know, it affords you the ability to take and have your wheels mounted and balanced elsewhere, you know, without having to be you know, because with the average Porsche owner is probably in their 60s as well. So, you know, a lot of guys may not be fit enough to stand on the bar.
Let me ask, what does it cost to repaint a fender?
Yeah, a lot more than that. So yeah, I think, you know, that $6,000, you know, $6,000 and under, if it's there, I mean, I think you're going to sell them like hotcakes. To, I would say, a good percentage of Centerlock GT Porsche owners. And, you know, there's Carreras that have, the GTS has Centerlocks, and a few other cars. I don't think, do they do them on Panameras? I would suspect most Panamera guys aren't servicing their wheels.
I would think you're right.
Unless they're GT owners that have a Panameras, they're
You don't
daily.
track a Panamera. Anyway, yeah.
But turbos, Turbo S's, GTS's, some Carreras that opted for it, and you know the 911 variant of you know, touring, and then of course, you know, would work for 996 all the way up through, you know, current. Because I believe that the socket or the nut is the same. It's the same. The nut, the internals of the nut is a little different on 997, but the key or the socket's the same.
Right.
So theoretically, you could put it on all of them. Yeah.
Again, this is version 1. We're looking to you for feedback. We're going to learn from you as well as you learn from us.
The scoop on here. Yep, you put that on there too. You thought of everything, huh? See, there's the little indentation for where it goes on. I mean, it's not locked on, but
Right.
yeah, imagine that would be sick if that was whatever color you wanted it to be. Black would be base, of course, and then, you know, you could do something cool.
Blue bosses.
Yeah, get some blue. Yeah, I think that would be a hit. You know, guys could do that. You know, especially since they, you know, like Shark Blue, the 992 has the Shark Blue lip option. This car actually has, these aren't the stock wheels, obviously, but the stock wheels have a green. They have the green lip to match the seats, and so you could do the green Centerlock thing.
You can do that if you want. Right.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys would take a 997. The 997 has the red, as this exterior part is in red, and so they'll actually put a 997 Centerlock, even though you're not supposed to, on a 991 because it looks kind of different.
Oh.
They have a little red. It has a little red outer ring around the Centerlock nut from the 997. Actually, it looks really good just with the stainless.
Silver looks the stainless. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Mike. There's your shot.
There.
Dirty wheels and all.
But don't forget, there's no brake on the wheel. It's loose. You can turn it.
Yeah. It's freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be, you know, at 12 grand, I'd still be thinking about it. It would really
It
hurt.
won't be that much.
It would really hurt, but I'd still be thinking about it.
You won't be anywhere near that.
Yeah, obviously the lower the retail, the more people are going to buy.
It depends on demand.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So do we make 500 of these Centerlock nuts or make 5,000? Depends. That determines the price.
So can I have some feedback? I'll share this. We'll make a post on Renlist, and we'll share it on, you know, Instagram, Facebook. We'll try to compile some data here. What do you guys think? You know, Porsche GT owners, I have many of you that follow me. What do you think? Knowing that this is going to be expensive in the world of costly tools, this is going to be up there. But what do you think about, would you buy this thing? I know I want it right now. I want to try to talk him into buying this one. The viability of something like this, it changes the whole dynamic. You would, what you could do, let's say you didn't have a big torque wrench or big breaker bar. you could just go to the dealership and say, hey, can you swap this for me? And then from that point on, you're good to go. You could take the tool to discount tire. What I always recommend people do is take your wheels off, throw them in the back of your truck or your wife's SUV, then take them. That eliminates one possibility of the guy, jacking up your wheels. And obviously, if you take this discount tire, they're not going to have the tool. And so you're stuck with going to the Porsche dealer. And if the Porsche dealer doesn't have a really good wheel and tire guy, it can be problematic for you, especially if you have aftermarket wheels. And so I think that this opens up many, many possibilities. I think for every track guy, obviously, it makes a lot of sense. You can just precisely check. I know I was at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and a guy had a GT2 and his wheel fell off, the Centerlocks, because he didn't torque it properly, and his freaking wheel came off. Or he said he didn't torque it properly, he probably never torqued it. And you would never have that issue with this. You just go to the track, just check your precise measurement, back it off, put it back on, and you're good to go. So put in the comments, send me a message, tell me I want one, and we'll talk these guys into making them. Anyway, thanks to Joel for coming all the way here. I'm going to play with this some more. Thanks for watching.